struggling right now, to get through, lesson 1, which is ask key questions. And so, like, the first question is, what do you want out of this course? And so, Lou, it's awesome to have you on today. Great to have you back. I thought we lost you forever, but we didn't. Thoughts or questions you have, Lou? Like, one of Lou's questions is that, why did you think you lost me forever, Mark? That's what he's thinking. And it's like, because he said after like 1 or 2 weeks that he accomplished what he wanted to with the course. And I thought, oh, since he accomplished what he wanted to the course, he's done with the course. But I'm like, there's so much more that you could accomplish. You just got to set higher goals. Lou, anything you want to accomplish today? Lou's might be on mute. He might be at a car show, having a lot of fun. And so, so this is, so on the screen, years ago, it's 11 years ago, Tom shared what he shared with Jill, and I thought it needed to be enhanced. So I added dreams and vision and then discipline and feed that all into the belief system. Like Tom gave me some of the best theology. My dad's a pastor, as I think most of you know, so raised in the church and everything, and I never heard this, in church ever. So Tom's a theologian, maybe didn't even know it. But he said, if God gives us the ability to dream or hope for something, then there is a way to achieve it.
By the way, that wasn't me. That was Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
And so, but Tom made it real for me. Like he knew that, Mark's, even though he gets kicked out of all the churches he goes to, he's a very devout Christian, even though he's getting kicked out all the time. And so Tom knows, God's important. So how Tom phrased it to me had a huge impact on my life. What Jill was saying in the pre-show is the 7 T's to stewardship: time, talents, treasure, trust, truth, temple, and thought. And Randy's right now, he's out skiing, and so because he just started, and he's the one, like, we blame Randy for all of this, and I knew he would do it. He's a disruptor. And so he went ahead and got Tom to share, and I love that principle, and I've been thinking about it for 11 years because I think I broke it. It's not like the other model that Tom shared. Like, that was magical. Like, Tom shared once after, 7 years, I think it was, of us knowing each other. 7, 8 years after, one day he just showed rings of influence. He's like, oh, Mark, there's this concept, rings of influence. I'm like, what's rings of influence? And he tells me, I'm like, Tom, that's amazing. Like, why'd you wait 7 years? I don't know. It just came to my mind. I'm like I keep wondering, like, is he holding back on me? Does he have all these magical things? And so he shared the concept with me, and the next day, literally, we got on a mastermind call, and what you see on the screen is what I produced from Tom. And it's ingenious. This model is one of the 500 natural laws, 500-plus natural laws, rings of influence, and the thing is so beautiful. It's like masterful. It's amazing. And so I think I'm going to have to go ahead and do the same thing with Tom's, 4 points or 5, whatever that is, because it's still not clear to me. What I'm visualizing is like, though, it's easier to change the direction of a moving car than one that's standing still. So I think what Peter and Tom are both saying, Jill, is you do the best you can with the first steps and then do it. And then while you're doing it, is it working for you or is it not? Like, this is why Randy, I'm talking to him. I haven't talked to him in a couple years probably. We touch base every few years. And so when I told him about the course, I said, what's your biggest challenge? And he said, same thing it was 15 years ago. I don't have enough time. And I'm like, you got to take this course. He's like, okay, and he signed up. Boom, just like that. That's all it was. Randy, you got to sign up. And he's already made an impact. Now he's out there skiing, which is fine, but he could accomplish a lot more skiing than he realizes. He doesn't understand how to leverage the skiing yet to give himself more time. Tom, thoughts, questions, insights?
Well, the skiing may be the time that opens his mind to start to think about some of the other things he wants to focus on.
Right? Like, that's just, I think the wizard calls you Yoda, Tom, because you're just, like, I don't know how you pick up the stuff that you do. It's insane. But see,
will you call my wife and let her know?
The wizard can do a show on it, actually. Like, you guys are all invited out to February 23rd, the last Saturday of the month, and Alan and Nancy are flying in for Friday night before, and so there's going to be a dinner on the 22nd, Friday night. You can bring anybody, your spouse, your significant other, children, anybody. It's a whole family affair. And so Friday night is going to be the dinner, and then, Saturday morning, we're not sure what's going to happen, something exciting. And then Saturday from noon to 2, noon to 4, whatever it is, Alan and Nancy need to leave at 2, but from noon to 4, whatever, the wizard's going to be doing, his show. And I'm the best friend of the wizard, just so everybody knows. And so, like, being the best friend of the wizard is amazing. Like, I share stuff with the wizard, and all of a sudden, magically, it happens on his channel. And the wizard can get stuff done, Tom, like you cannot believe. Unbelievable. Like the wizard could say, and that Tom Coons fella, man, like he's amazing. Like his wife is just so fortunate to have him. He is he's Yoda. Like, how does she deal with such magnificence? And, like, the wizard can say that. You and I couldn't say that, Tom, but the wizard can say anything. And you can look at his...
As long as she's not in the audience.
If she was, would the wizard be in danger for saying it?
He might make to himself, not to me.
That's why he has his faithful sidekick, Lou, because Lou, he's going to go ahead. If anything happens, it's Lou's fault. So, Peter, your thoughts, insights, questions?
No, I don't have anything I think I can add at this stage.
Jill, has this helped you or not so much?
It helps in one way. Logically, it makes sense. But my issue is when I allow emotional things are part of my obstacles, and
like
I
what?
Give up my grandchildren. I have told my kids that they have to, we have to set a time when I'm going to see my grandkids and what have you. They can't just drop in anymore. So I'm trying to, change the time amount so it's not just whenever they want to. But I'm not going to give up my grandkids. I'm only seeing them once every 2 or 3 weeks at this point.
And so what's the obstacle from stopping you from seeing those kids?
Well, because it always seems to be when I have other things that I should be doing that, they want me to watch the kids or whatever. So then I take a day for playing with the grandkids instead of getting my work done.
So to me, you should just time block your time. And if your kids understand that this is the time that you've set aside for your grandkids, and they agree with that, then that's the time you have with them, and everything else is, you don't do anything else until you get to the time block of the other stuff you're going to do.
Okay. So basically, that stuff I just have to block it in, and
Do you want to spend more time with your grandkids, Jill? Or you?
Right now, no.
Okay.
I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the way it is right now.
Okay. So if you want to spend more time with your grandkids, but business-wise you're just not able to do so, your business needs you, then what you do is you communicate that to your grandkids and your kids. Listen, Grandma would love to go ahead and spend more time with you. She would. But right now, Grandma's business, requires Grandma to do what she's doing. So that's one technique. Another technique is work to include them in your work.
The oldest ones I've been doing that with.
Right. So all of them, like Liliana, she just turned 2 years old, and so she's getting her wizardess costume up and going, so she's going to start to participate, in some of the wizard videos. So you look and say, how do I become creative, and how do I integrate, the grandkids into my work? So with 7 kids, me really in a season, there was probably about 7 years where I had to do a lot of travel and speaking. Didn't like speaking, didn't like the travel, but I'm like, I got to do it for my business. So what did I do? I went ahead and took one or two of my children on business trips, and they spoke professionally in front of hundreds of people. So what I did is I learned the combination principle. It's one of the techniques in leverage. So when we have 10 things on our plate, and we say, okay, I can't do all 10, and I want to add another 5. So most people say you got to take 5 things off your plate to add another, 5 things on. But what I learned from the wizard is you don't have to do that. See, the wizards taught me over the years so many things about you don't have to go ahead and take off 5 things. Well, if I can only handle 10 things and I have 10 things, well, it's the combination principle. You blend those 5 things in. You start blending your whole life together, so everything. And so Tom, like Lou, are you able to talk or not?
I am able to talk.
Can you go ahead and share the story about your son talking to the wizard and after out of the car show?
What part of that would you refresh my memory other than he was talking to?
Okay, so Lou's, I might, because I wasn't there, I don't know, but Lou was talking to the wizard and kind of passed this along. The wizard shared it with me, so I'm getting a third party. But Lou's went to this really cool, car show. And Lou's probably a celebrity because he's got all these cars that he does, all this stuff. And so, like any good dad, he's wanting to impress his son. And what were some of the cars that were there, Lou?
Lamborghinis, Porsches, Bugatti, Ferrari.
So, these are pretty hot cars, right? So, being a good dad, Lou's interested in his son being interested in the things he's interested in. And so, on the way back, the wizard called Lou in preparation for their monthly event and going through, and Lou went ahead and introduced his son to the wizard. And the wizard was working on the YouTube stuff, and the wizard found Lou's son, who's 14 years old, Joey, far more interesting than Lou. His son is amazing. And so they're having this great conversation. Lou's he's kind of feeling left out, but it's okay. And the wizard and Joey are talking back and forth. Joey's just brilliant. It's just oh my gracious, that's a great idea. And so after, they hung up, what did your son say, Lou?
He said that was fun talking to the wizard.
Right. And there was a little more drama that the wizard put into that. And so the wizard said, Lou said to him, it's that was more fun, Dad, than the car show. That was really cool. And Lou wanted to strike his son. He didn't because he's a martial arts expert and a great dad, so he's never going to. But he wanted to pop him one to say, how could you have this short conversation, with the wizard, and how come the wizard's so much more impressive than your dad? Everybody learns that. The wizard's just always taking the attention. So what Lou's doing is Lou's taking his son on things. So they're combining things together, Jill, and you can do that. I did that with my kids. Lou's doing that with his son. So you can start to combine things together. Like I want to travel all over the world with my grandkids.
Mark, could I jump in and blend it together for even better?
Yeah, please, absolutely.
All right, Jill. So, for example, when my son not only goes to these car shows, then I'll throw a video up of a car we both saw, so the whole globe can see it. And the person who does my editing is my son. So he saw the car. He knows the direction I want to go already. I want a car show, and then he does his thing to add on top of it. If I could use the same analogy, it's like, for example, when my wife wants to buy a piece of furniture, I usually pay for it, and then she places it somewhere in the house and never asks me where to place it, right? So I just get it, and she just does it. So the business way to blend things together, though, is, for example, I have a CFO mastermind group, and the reason why I have a CFO mastermind group is because I then blend it together. Give me 1 second. So my CFO mastermind group, the reason why I have that is because most of my clients are CFOs who have IT departments, although I have 12 IT consultants. So I run a CFO mastermind group, don't talk about IT. When they finally say they have a problem with IT, guess who raises their hand? One of the other CFOs who says, well, I don't know if you know this or not, but Lou's got an IT company who could help you with that. So those two different things, not only blending how my son helps in the business, and then on top of that, my wife helps on the business because she can do emails. She used to write for a former CFO of Sears, not the one that's currently destroying them. And she used to be his blog person, so she writes an email once a month that goes out to all of the car people for the YouTube videos. So they're all blended into the big mix of doing car videos.
Does that help, Jill?
Does that help?
Yeah.
Cool. So, real quick, Lou, before we go into the Q&A, why do you think people are already starting to fly in from all over the country, soon all over the world, to actually meet the wizard in person? Why are people doing this? Like, I'm his best friend, and I get that, but he's not that impressive to me. But he is to. Why is it that people are flying in from all over to meet the wizard in person, Lou?
Marky got me on that one.
Okay. So I just have this sneaking suspicion that Lou's going to get vaporized the next, at the next, episode there, because I can't imagine that, that the wizard's going to like that answer so well. But anyways, Lou likes to get pounded. By the way, did you all know that Justin Bieber has some, 13-year-old, when he was a 13-year-old video that has 2 billion views?
Yeah, that would make sense to me.
It didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, oh my gracious, the wizard's going to kick his butt. That's really, wow. Anyways, Nicole, we have 3 minutes before we go into the Q&A. Any questions you had for Tom or Peter, Nicole?
Yeah, how do you be cautious when you're leveraging relationships to make sure you're not over-leveraging them? Mark, you talk a lot about this when you talk about it, with me, when you tell me to do something and you're very cautious because, I'll just say yes. How do I caution myself in that way?
I would just give them the agency to tell you when it's too much.
And what if they just shake their head yes and just keep going?
Do you have anybody that'll do that for you, Nicole?
My intern. She just shakes her head and says yes, and I don't want to push her too far too fast because I feel that'll be a little detrimental.
So I would sit with her and just ask what her goals are in working with you, and that you find her that she seems to be able to do about anything that you ask her to do. But she needs to let you know when she needs a little bit of time out. You know, I need to slow down a little bit here.
Okay.
Peter and Tom, do you guys have to take off, or you got a little time?
I got some time. Peter, I didn't mean to step over you. Go ahead and say what you were saying.
No, I was going to say something similar, but with people like that, you've also got to give them permission to speak up. If they're a subordinate, they may not. They're just trying to please. But that doesn't serve anybody.
So we're going to take a 5-second pause, go into Q&A. We'll keep this conversation going. I mean, think about two other people that you know. We're going to also hopefully talk to Murray if he's able to be there, Elise and Rosanna, if they're able to be here. So stick around for them too. They'll have some great insights and questions. But think about two people who would benefit a great deal by joining Leverage. Like Randy, for example, like you have four key people. Like what if they were all on this too, and this got everybody in your team aligned? Like I can see how all four of them, Randy, being in Leverage, going through it together with you, would be really, really powerful in a powerful way. So we all have, easily two people that would benefit from participation in Leverage. So, say, hey, it's really inexpensive. Get definitely for sure get backstage passes. Get that, sign up, and just do it like Randy just did it because I asked him to do it. Yep, go ahead and do it. So many people have done that. Lou, same thing. So here's our 5-second pause, and we'll move into the bonus session. Here we go.